Hello all, welcome to the UFC Vegas 112 Apex 112 review. I don't actually know if there's been 112 Apex shows, but do they even do shows in Vegas outside of the pay-per-views? Not at the Apex? It's a legitimate question I have at this point. Anyways, we are done with the card, and the card was pretty good. I thought the action was top notch. It started badly because the Jamie Lenhorth versus Teresa Bleda fight was like just very, very sudden, very impactful, but like kind of also like bad feeling like ending to it. And then you had the Guilherme Pat versus Alan Fry Jr. fight and the Luana Santos versus Melissa Croden fight, which were both not very good. But from that point onwards, pretty damn good. I mean, the Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Marcus Buchecha fight, that was not great. And I would say the Bobby Green versus Lance Gibson Jr. fight was also not especially good. But Joe Anderson Brito threw down with Isaac Thompson. Sean Seraph and Stephen Asplin had an excellent fight by heavyweight standards. Yaroslav Amosov did his thing. And also Melchior Costa, Manel Kape quick finishes, and Kevin Vieos versus Giga Chikadze was pretty good. Oh, the Cesar Almeida versus Cesari Oleksiejczuk. That was not great. I'll probably have very little in the way of good things to say about that fight. But yeah, let's get into it. Manel Kape versus Brendan Royval, a classic Apex main event between two guys that has a fair amount of impact, actually, to be honest. It's there. It was going like I thought it was. Royval was, I think, getting into the hole, landing more. Apparently they landed the same number of strikes by the end of the fight, but kind of outworking him, kind of having success keeping the range. But Manel Kape was able to pressure him, was able to find, contact with the body, with the head, and eventually he just wasted him, nuked him, took him down, put him down, and put him out in 3 minutes, 18 seconds. So Manel Kape with a big win and a big call out for a title shot afterwards. You could do that. I mean, the only problem with like a title shot for Kape is that I really want to see Van versus Pantoja too. And it means anybody who sneaks in the meantime is going to feel like somewhat of an imposter, I guess. And that would include Manel Kape, even though like he pretty much, you have to think, has earned it more than anyone else in the division right now in terms of like UFC achievements, because like the only other option would be Horiguchi, I guess you could do, because of his Ryzen accomplishments, but his UFC accomplishments don't really work there. But he's on a 3-fight winning streak. The lone loss he had in the meantime was to Mokaev. Before that, he was on a 4-fight winning streak. And yeah, it's been a while. And even the Mokaev fight was like, the Mokaev loss is pretty understandable because as much as I dislike Mokaev from a process standpoint, from a bad blood standpoint, from a needless trash talk and overinflation standpoint, he is a really good fighter. So if Kape ends up getting a title shot because Pantoja's out for a while, I guess that's fine. But I really do want Van versus Pantoja, and I would honestly prefer for Van to just sit on that belt until Pantoja's ready to fight him again. For Royval, I don't think this means a ton. Kape is one of the more dynamic, hard-hitting finishers in the division. Royval, I think, is still very, very tough, very durable. He's got the fundamentals that make his style work, which is a high gas tank and a long reach, or a long frame, I should say. His reach is actually not all that long. It's more of a height thing. And yeah, I mean, I'm still going to pick him to beat most of the division, so not really a lot changed. But this was a chance for him to get himself in the title picture. Well, a guy that has beaten him twice, 2 or 3 times. I forget how many times now. That's been the one problem with the Pantoja reign, is that there was so many repeats. Let's see here. Yeah, he lost to Pantoja twice. He's lost to Brandon Moreno, Joshua Van, obviously. So I guess there really wasn't a path to the title for him, even with Van with the belt. But yeah, he'll still be a guy you could put in there for good, entertaining, like action fights, and just do it. And in the co-main event, we had Kevin Vieos versus Giga Chikadze. Round 1, little dull, little short-paced, not a lot there. 28 total strikes landed, not much. Round 2, Vieos comes out, and I don't know if he saw something in round 1 that allowed him to like just get in there, but like he He starts throwing his own kicks. He closed the distance. He flurries, spinning back fist. Boom. Giga's down. He's out. There you go. Calls out Cub Swanson. Stop calling out the old guys. Come on. You just beat Giga Chikadze. You don't get Chikadze and then Cub Swanson. Come on. Come on. Call someone out that's under the age of 35, please. For the love of God. Also, people, just let Cub be retired. Do not tempt this guy out of retirement. Please. Please. Just let him walk off into the sunset. What does this mean going forward? I mean, for Villegas, it was a massive step up for him, and he got the job done. Now, is there a slight asterisk beside him that I thought Giga looked, a little reduced? Sure. But he looked fine. This wasn't a fight like when Roman Dolidze beat Marvin Vettori, for example, where it's like, oh God, Vittori's just done. That's not what this was. But was this a peak Giga Chikadze? No. Was it ever going to be a peak Giga Chikadze? No. Still, it's a good win, and that's the other thing that I would like to see Villegas fight somebody of one of the other up-and-coming guys, or a guy who's more in his prime, is I still have questions, and I want to have them answered. Whereas with Cub Swanson, there would be no answers. Like, even on a stylistic level, it's like, what does Cub do that is going to derail Villegas in the way that other people might be able to derail him? And the answer is nothing. So there you go. For Giga, I have to be blunt. Like, I've never been a big fan of Giga. So I guess I'm not really hurt by the fact that we're probably at the end of the road for him as a significant high-end fighter. Although I do appreciate his work with cancer. It's very good, very cool. That was a big thing throughout the night. Of course, this was the big cancer awareness support night for the UFC. So they did bring up that Giga has a foundation and a charitable work with that. So I appreciate that a lot. But in the cage, I've never really... It's not that he hasn't made me cheer. It's not that he hasn't made me happy to see him do stuff, like watching him knock out Cub Swanson with the Giga Hick. That's cool. Jamie Simmons, Edson Barboza, his finishes are cool. It's just that I always thought that his almost all of his wins always had an asterisk next to them, and it kind of led to him being overhyped. Cesaro Oleksiejczuk, Cesar Almeida. I don't have anything good to say about this fight. Oleksiejczuk clearly won all 3 rounds. I want to be clear on that. Heavy strike landed edge to him. 113-25 per UFC stats. The couple of big shots Almeida had on the feet weren't really all that great, and he was able to work his way to takedowns and get semi-dominant positions, or at the very least top control. But at the same time, Almeida also reversed him a couple times, and that's not a good. It's not a good sign for Oleksiejczuk going forward that he won this fight, but actually legitimately had problems with Almeida on the ground. There were legitimately issues that he had. It does not speak highly of Oleksiejczuk's game, that it's really, really going to work. Now, are there people he can beat? Absolutely. Middleweight is a land of broken so he can absolutely hang around and beat some guys and get some stuff done. It's just that if you were looking at Oleksiejczuk as a guy who was going to be a long-time ranked fighter, title contender, gatekeeper, any of these good things, and I don't think he is. Now, he does have time. He's a big dude for the weight class, 6'3", 73.5-inch reach. He's only 25 years old. He's got time. I'm just saying that there is development that has to happen, that there is no guarantee that it will. Melchior Koska and Morgan Charrier had a slow feeling out process, and then Costa head kicked the crap out of Charrier, and that was the fight. that was the fight, where it was kind of like the Giga Chikadze versus Villegas fight, where it's are we gonna get something here? And it's boom, dead. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that minute and 14-second knockout. I'll take it to the bank. I picked Costa to win this fight, but I will much like I talk about how when I lose a fight, it's not necessarily what anyone would have called. I will say I didn't have sudden head kick knockout for Costa as the answer. I had him outworking Charrier, not just sending him straight to hell. But that is what we got, and I'll take the money. I'll take the bet payout. Anyways, we had a draw. We've had draws on back-to-back cards now. This was Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Marcus Buchecha, round 1, and round 3 going to Kennedy. Round 3 for sure. Round 1, I think there was. See, this is the thing. Yeah, fighter. The judges love their top control, and the fact that half the round was on the ground, like made me a little bit nervous. But rounds 1 and 3, I thought pretty clearly for Kenny and Nzechukwu. Round 2 for Marcus Buchecha in a very sad fashion because he had 3 minutes and 40 seconds of top control. Did not have really a significant submission attempt at all. And no good ground and pound. His takedowns are still not there. So Kennedy would have won if not for the eye poke point deduction. Which, to be clear, totally fine. I want to see more points taken away for eye pokes, if anything. So good on you, Herb Dean, for making that call. But not a good fight for Buchecha, and not a particularly good fight for Nzechukwu either. This is the problem. Like, Nzechukwu won by, again, all standards, but like he didn't seem like to be violently damaging Buchecha at any point. And it was just like, okay, you have takedown defense superiority, but you're also realistically here landing 9, 7, and 8 significant strikes in the fight. Like 24 significant strikes in the entire fight, 58 strikes in total. It's not a great performance by him. It doesn't really raise his stock. And of course, Buchecha, I think, is absolutely dead in the water at this point at 0-1-1 in the UFC with 2 terrible performances. 3 for 13 in takedowns in this one. And if I recall correctly, against Martin Buday, 1 for 11. So, yeah. Yeah. Buchecha did try to knee bar him, and he fended that off. So either Walter Walker is actually really, really, really good at knee bars, or Kennedy has at the very least been going hard to the bank with those. Not a good fight, not a tremendously great fight, not a terrible fight, but it's a fight that leaves me just more or less disappointed in both guys as to where they are heading in the long term. Bobby Green versus Lance Gibson Jr. This fight went more or less according to plan. This one was weird because like there were people on Twitter and stuff talking about how, man, Lance Gibson Jr. got robbed here, and like I would have no issue giving him the second round. None at all. He landed similar levels of strikes, had a takedown, a little bit of top control. It was his best round by a long shot. But even in that round, he got outlanded by King Green in both significant strikes and total strikes. So, like, when that's your best round, I really don't understand how anyone is calling for him to... Like, people had him winning the first round. He got outlanded 22-12 in the first round. He did not land anything big significant. Like, it's not like Lance Gibson Jr. was out there hurting Bobby Green or King Green. I will probably... Bobby Green is seared into my head. Like, it's an apology. King Green, he wasn't rocking him and doing anything. And the third round was definitely Green's. It was basically just Gibson avoiding any kind of real fight with him, landing 5 total strikes, throwing 12. It's like ridiculously low for a lightweight fight. This is a 160 fight, but still. But like I said, I saw Lance Gibson Sr. fight a number of times and even got to meet him. And it would be great. I'm Canadian. It would be great to have an up-and-coming prospect or, right in the mix guy in Lance Gibson Jr. But nothing about this fight suggests that he's actually... at this level, and I didn't even find it close. People thought otherwise, but yeah, King Green did his thing, and honestly, if your predominant edge on King Green is still going to be your wrestling, it's going to be hard to pick up the win. And this was obviously split decision, which, I mean, King Green has a classic problem that he has never addressed, which is that his fighting style always makes a fight seem closer than it is, because his way of defense requires really close paying attention, and he doesn't necessarily bring bucket loads of offense. And there's a reason that he's had the career that he's had in terms of luck with decisions, because King Green is, of course, a guy who has lost fights that he probably shouldn't have, like even dating back to the Strikeforce days. I think that's about all I'll say about that fight. So bumping our way down, we had Yaroslav Amosov put away Neil Magny in the first round by Anaconda choke. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, MMA gods. Thank you, fight karma. We finally had someone just go out there and put Neil Magny through the wood chipper. Again, it's I said this in the prediction video. It's so Neil Magny's career has been one long frustrating road for me, pretty much start to end. It's been a rough time because his style should not actually work, and it does. So every time he loses, I'm pretty happy. Plus, I'm a reasonably big fan of Amosov, and it would be great to have the Bellator reputation salvaged a little bit. Joe Anderson Brito versus Isaac Thompson was, for a late nose fight, about as good as it could be. Brito was, generally speaking, the stronger fighter. Thompson was outlanding him quite a bit at long range. But the problem is Thompson's game doesn't really function as just a range game. It's not really something he does. Like he wants to wrestle, he wants to scramble, and he did. And generally, although Brito was keen to lose position a lot, Brito was able to out-scramble him on the ground and get the better of the grappling exchanges. So, despite the fact that Thompson ended up with a significant edge and strikes landed, 127-66, they were a lot of the time not that impactful. And, the fact that Brito was able to get takedowns more or less at will, the third round was a little bit tricky, was a key. So, I mean, it's a good showing from Thompson. Look forward to his next fight. I will say, it's a little bit weird that you would entrust your kid to Uriah Faber the way his parents did, but we roll with it, I guess. And then probably the fight of the night was Steven Asplund versus Sean Seraph. This was not a great technical fight, not a great display of technicality, but it was a display of, number one, the most significant strikes apparently landed in a heavyweight fight. Apparently Andrei Arlovski had that record previously, and now it belongs to Steven Asplund, so congratulations. Steven Asplund, former 500-pound dude. He fights at a ridiculous pace. Like, he landed 71 sig strikes in the first round and 99 in the second round, which is insane. Seraph was able to hit him because Asplund is there to be hit. He's very, very open to that. But he was never able to break Asplund's general continuous wall of pressure and additional strikes coming back at him. He was going to tank the damage and keep going, keep throwing at a high pace, keep working there, and that's going to get him a lot of wins at heavyweight. Now, I will say he does need to develop some kind of technical improvements, both offensively and defensively, if he's going to really get to the top of the division. But he does fundamentally have decent power. He is huge. And he's got the heart and the surprising cardio for heavyweight. So there's a lot of fighters he could probably just kind of outwork. Honestly, like with the appropriate coaching, there's nothing to stop him from becoming Alexander Volkov. And hopefully with better takedown defense, because Volkov's takedown defense at times is wrestling mistakes are huge. Hopefully Asplund can be a better one than that. So I look forward to seeing what he can do, because he seems like a really cool dude that I'm going to enjoy. And that's pretty rare at heavyweight, honestly, because there's a lot of cool dudes at heavyweight, but they tend not to be that entertaining. And Asplund certainly is. So all the best, but there is work to be done. Please make that clear. Sean Seraph is pretty near the bottom of this division in terms of the fact that he's just not very good. He's got like decently quick hands, but it's the only nice thing I can say about him. Lena Santos versus Melissa Croden. Not a great fight. Not a fantastic fight. One in which Croden was winning the striking exchanges largely, but she was taken down 3 times, spent 9 minutes and 21 seconds on her back. Round 1 was the only round where she did not spend most of the round on her back. And it's a round that she did not necessarily even win. So there is that as well. Santos, you got the W. You got some takedowns here against somebody who's like at least got the physical size to be hard to take down. But like at the same time, her top game is still very dull. Like it is very much, okay, are you going to gift wrap me a submission? No, then I'm not going to really do much more than control you. Even with dominant position, because like her first takedown was a great example that she gets like scarf position right away, and it's like, this should be it. This should be a thing. This should be, this should be something you can turn into something, and she didn't. Honestly, if Croden had a more elusive, like, range striking game, she probably could have won this fight. But the reason I didn't pick Croden in this fight was the fact that she's not very elusive. Her deal is to utilize her range game to make you come inside where she can utilize her clinch game and get her own takedowns in top position. And the fact that when that happened, Santos was able to put her down kind of made it a problem. I mean, there were a couple of stuffs there, but I mean, 2 takedowns for Santos led for over 3 minutes of top control, over 3.5 minutes of top control both times. So it is what it is. She's going to win some fights, but she's not going to win fans until there is some kind of development to her in terms of as a finisher. The bright side for Santos, she's 25 years old. She has time. It just has to happen, and there's no guarantee about that. Fry versus Pat. I don't have a lot of nice things to say about Alan Fry. He's big. He's decently athletic. He's got heart. Like, he kept going when things were just not going right for him at all. But there's not really a game for him there. Like, there's not a range game. There's not a mid-range game. There's not really an impressive clinch game. So he's 27 years old. There's time to do, but I don't think actually being at Derek Brunson's gym is actually at all useful. I mean, this is the classic thing where a fighter will open up a gym and it's like, but this fighter was based on having athletic abilities that his students don't have. And as such, is he really going to teach them much? Because Derek Brunson's game was never technically sound. It was, I am just technical enough that my A++ athletic talents for MMA, and middleweight specifically, will carry me through. And as big as they tried to make the D3 basketball career of Alan Fry out to be, it's just not. And that's kind of really all there is to it. As for Guillermo Pat, the problem I see for him is that fundamentally he doesn't seem to have a lot of power. And at heavyweight, that kind of dooms him to like a Lucas Brzeski type of game. I think he's a cooler striker and a better technical striker than Brzeski, so he'll be better. But at the end of the day, he was forced into the clinch a lot by a guy who wasn't exactly subtle or particularly good at forcing clinches. It was just, he would be walked down. So if other fighters can do that against him, they're going to pick up W's very, very quickly over Guillermo Pat. Just by being willing to eat some stuff to getting close. And I mean, his again, the range game was nice. There were some nice kicks there. There were some nice formed punches. Towards the end of the fight and at various points, he was getting elbows and knees in the clinch that were looking good. So there's not nothing there, but I do think the lack of one-shot kill power is going to be a limiting factor for him. But we'll see. Maybe Alan Fry is just that durable. Jamie Lynn Horth beat Teresa Bleda. Bleda looked terrible. She went 0 for 4 on takedowns. They were like deep shots. It's not like Horth anticipated them and shut them down or anything. She got deep on takedowns and was able to do absolutely nothing with those shots. And yeah, she got knocked out eventually. She was out for a really, really long time before this, so I gotta wonder what was the physicality like there. Was it a case of ring rust, whatever? She hadn't been in the cage since June of 2023. But you know what? Horth can only beat what's put in front of her, and she did do that. So that's really all I can do. She's won 2 in a row over Vanessa Demopoulos and Teresa Bleda now, and she's also beaten Petrovic and Cowan, so she's up to 4-2 in the UFC, and she's putting on a nice little run. I still don't really think it's going anywhere, and she's 35 years old. I'm here for her to try to do what she can do. That's kind of about it. So when we do have a long break here, actually, where there's nothing coming up for a significant portion of time here with the UFC. Our next fight card will be UFC 324 on January 24th, so that's a long ways away. That's the Pimblett versus Gaethje card. Harrison Nunez, O'Malley Yadong, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Derek Lewis, Arnold Allen, and John Silva. Natalia Silva, Thug Rose, Umar Nurmagomedov, Davidson Figueiredo, Ateba Gauthier back in against Andrei Pulyev, Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez, Nikita Krylov, Odysseus Bukauskas, Alex Perez, Charles Johnson. I like that fight. I actually like the fight a lot. Josh Hockett versus Denzel Freeman, and Ricky Tercios versus Cameron Smotherman in a battle of 2 guys who don't belong here. So I don't like that booking. Yeah, it's not a bad card. It's going to suffer from the fact that there is no logic that makes Pimblett versus Gaethje for the title make sense. But c'est la vie. And I will see you then. And in the meantime, down below, there is some video game stuff, some social media stuff, and my Discord server stuff. Check it out. And I hope to converse with you there. Anyways, have a good day, everybody.
Little bonus content for y'all. On Twitter, on the social media, on the fight chain, somebody, James Lynch, went through and figured out the actual biggest betting upsets of the year for the UFC. And I was like kind of curious. It's like, hey, how many of these did I get right? And number one, Ronnie Barcelos, Peyton Talbot, did not get that right. Now, to be clear, I did say that the odds were insanely too wide. Because honestly, the idea that the biggest underdog that pulled off a victory being Ronnie Barcelos is a little bit ridiculous. So I didn't get that one. But I did get number 2, number 3, and that was Michael Johnson over Daniel Zellhuber and Carlos Vera over Josiah Musasa. So that's cool. Didn't get number 4. That was Alonzo Metafield versus Omar Sy. Number 5, I did not get, but I want to pull this out here. Daniel Rodriguez and Kevin Holland? Really? Kevin Holland is the 5th biggest favorite to lose. That's kind of insane. Muin Gaparov versus Rinya Nakamura. No good there. Mitch Raposo Azat Maxim. Nope. Mizuki Inoue versus Amarim. Nope. I did get Muslim Salikov versus Carlos Leal. So I did get, 3 of the top 9? That's pretty cool. And then further on down, Joseph Morales versus Alibi Idris. I think I picked Idris. I honestly can't remember. I was like at a coin flip on that one, and I think I went with like the positive idea that Idris would be something, and it doesn't look like that's likely the case. Sohong Ko versus Oban Elliott. I did pick Elliott, but that was another one that was like weirdly wide. And then Peter Yan versus Marab. Didn't get that one. Ethan Ewing versus Malcolm Wallmaker. Didn't get it. Alex Hernandez versus Chase Hooper. Did not get that one, but I'm surprised it's on this list because that should have been basically an even money fight. Maybe like plus 100, plus 120. Apparently it closed at plus 315. Johnny Walker versus Ming Yang Zhan. I picked John, but like that was a toss-up fight. Kape Fernandez versus Guram Kutadalazi. Missed that one. Thought Kutadalazi had that. Brent Barrow versus DR Nergojai. Missed that one. Didn't get that. Neil Magny over Jake Matthews. I was tempted to take Neil Magny, but I did not. Reiner de Ritter over Bo Nickel. I missed that one as well. Alden Correa versus Alessandro Costa. Missed that one. Jakob Wicklax versus Patchy Mix. Missed that one. Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson. I took Figueiredo. Got it. Billy Elikana versus Ibo Aslan. I picked Elikana. I don't know why. I never really understood the hype with Aslan. He's a hard hitter, don't get me wrong, but that was kind of about it. Further on down, Derek Lewis versus Talisha Teixeira. I think at the end of the day, I picked Teixeira, so I can't claim anything on that one. Tim Elliott, Kai Asakura. I did pick Asakura to win that. I did pick Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. I did pick Azat Bakoyev versus Yusri Belgari. This is a weird one. Merab Dvalishvili makes the list at 23 for his win over Umar Nurmagomedov. What was up with you guys? When I say you guys, I mean the betting public, going almost to minus 300 on Umar against the champion. That is bizarre. Anyways, I picked Merab. Christian Rodriguez versus Austin Bashi. Score 1 for me. Andre Petrosky versus Rodolfo Vieira. Didn't get that one right. Bruno Lopez versus Magomed Gadzi Yashalov. Got that one right because Gadzi Yashalov is not good. Thank you. Martin Budai versus Marcus Buchecha. I went positive on that one. I did pick Buchecha, so I was wrong. And Nasrat Hakparast against Esteban Rivic. Score again. So I got a couple of them. So what did I do here? I got Johnson. I got Vera. I got Salikov. I got Figueiredo, Elikana, Merab actually on both on both sides of this actually. Rodriguez, Lopez, and Hakparas. So I got 9 out of 25. Not too bad. What did you guys do? Leave it in the comments down below on YouTube, or I don't actually know if the podcast has comment capability. But you can also put it in the Discord server. Anyways, that is all. Have a good one. This time I do beat it.